A player that is your number one corner is helping the Lions do some special things. I want to put this up first so we can look at this. Detroit Lions PR put this out, and this is crazy. Lions secondary, obviously Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson, Taron Arnold. Detroit has not allowed an opponent to exceed a 60% completion percentage rate in 7 straight games, the longest single-season streak by the Lions since 1976. Secondary completion percentage, they have not exceeded a 60%. Now, we've seen games where guys, Jared Goff's done it pretty often, where he's exceeding 60%. And you're seeing more quarterbacks, good quarterbacks, especially in good offensive systems. They can do it. Lions have not allowed one to do it in the last 7 games, and they faced Jordan Love twice. So keep that in mind. Who's I would say a pretty good quarterback. Also on top of that, this came out, which I love Carlton Davis PR. I love it because he deserves the praise. Detroit Times, shout out to them. Shout out to him, actually. He put this out. Since week 9, Carlton Davis is a PFF's top-rated cornerback with an overall defensive grade of 83.1. And he is an expiring deal, Carlton Davis. We talked about, him coming back and how important it is for the secondary. You got to see the defense without him. He's very important. He's, I would say, a top 15 in that area corner in the NFL. He's playing really well this year. Texans had a 2-interception game. He's a playmaker, had a dropped one against the Colts. I'll ask you guys your thoughts on you could say the secondary and maybe Carlton. Will he be extended? You think he stays in Detroit with them drafting 2 corners this year?
Klotz, I'll let you. That's your old position.
I think that's exactly what you do. Carlton Davis is the best cornerback that's been in Detroit since Darius Slay. And I know that's not saying much, but it's saying something. And when you look at what Carlton Davis has done, just look at when Carlton Davis was out and you went up against Anthony Richardson of all teams, and you see Ashton Dulin and Alec Pierce. These guys run butt naked on Kindle Vildor. And I think Taron Arnold will get better. But even in year 2 of Taron Arnold, I'm not comfortable with that being as your cornerback 1 when you can have an option of Carlton Davis. And when you look at the Carlton Davises, for the contract that he'd be asking for, that's going to be the best bargain because he's already won a Super Bowl with Tampa. He's about to win another one this year with Detroit. And when you talk about coming back to a Super Bowl team, he knows what that's like. He knows what that means. And he's not the cornerback that he once was. So he's not going to be expensive. When you look at the L'Jarius Sneed sweepstakes that took off this offseason, it's not going to be one of those situations. So I think when Carlton Davis is here, he's somebody that you want, but also, in my opinion, somebody that you need. He's not going to be a premier corner, but he's somebody that makes a difference for this team, especially when you could bring in another guy, even if it's not a high-end guy. Carlton Davis be your cornerback 2 or 3 as he gets a little bit older. That's a great option to have just because of the experience that's going to come with it. So in my opinion, it's a no-brainer to re-sign him. Even if it's a 2 to 3 year deal, I'd be all for it.
I think the biggest question mark with all, or not question mark, just like the biggest point with all of it with Carlton, like you just drafted 2 rookie corners. You don't have to pay another corner for a couple of years. So you can sign Carlton Davis, and when you look at money allocated to different positions from Brad Holmes and how they're going to do it, everyone questions oh, who's going to walk? They can't sign everyone. They can't do it. All right, well, you look at a position group like the corners to where it's all right, you're going to have your corner room. Taron Arnold, Dan said it this week. I don't know if you guys saw this. Dan had high praise for Taron and said, hey, a lot of rookies, when they hit their bump, they boom. He said the rookies, guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Hutch, Penei, in their careers, when they hit their bump in their rookie year and they progressed and started going up, he was like, that's what Tarion's doing right now. So you have a guy in Taron Arnold who is going to be a very, very good corner in this league for the next 2 or 3 years, as he gets better and gets a feel for the NFL, and you have him on a rookie deal. All right, you look at the money allocated in position groups. In your corner room, you have 2 guys essentially. You can count Amik. So Amik's on a different deal, but you have 2 rookie corners on rookie deals. All right, now we have money to spend on Carlton Davis. And Carlton's not going to ask for top 5, top 10 corner money either. You're going to get him at a good price. So, Klotz, I'm with you. I think when you resign Carlton, I don't know what he's going to be asking for. If you get him on a 2 or 3 year deal, and when his deal's up, Taron, you're going to have to extend Taron, and then you could figure it out and go from there. And you don't have to worry about that for 2 or 3 years. I think that's the perfect situation for Brad in the corner room. Hey, Carlton, we'll give you this 2 or 3 year deal. as soon as this deal's up, we're gonna have to extend Terrion, and we can revisit where you're at in your career. But like, you have to bring Carlton back, man. You have to. I remember when we signed him. Remember, I talked to Che, and the first thing he texted me, the first thing I heard about Carlton coming to Detroit was, hey, when he's playing at a high level, like this man's a top 5. Like he put, maybe not top. I can't remember the exact number he put. He might have said top 10, but he's a top 10 corner at his position when he's playing at the highest level. And over the last 6-7 weeks, he's been playing at that level, and he's earning a contract. He is earning one. And I just think the money with the rookies, like that matters. Like that, take all of that into account.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps. Certainly, you have 2 corners on rookie contracts. Like that allows you to re-sign Carlton Davis, and it's not the same exact thing, but it's a similar conversation. We had this yesterday with Sam Darnold and the Vikings, and how they're in a situation where they have a rookie quarterback they drafted, and they have a proven guy in Sam Darnold who's playing really well. How do they handle that? That's kind of how I similarly look at the Lions. Like you have a number 1 corner playing well, and you have Terrion Arnold who's playing well, but you have like an unknown commodity with Ennis Rakestraw. Like to me, I would rather re-sign the known commodity. Like I know what Carlton Davis brings. He's a very good corner. He's someone that brings some stability, and he's been very good all year. So I am 100% down to re-sign Carlton Davis. I just don't know what the money would look like, because he's making 14. I would be curious. But I would for sure be down to re-sign him. I think he should be re-signed. I think it makes a ton of sense. Like you're Danny, to go into next year and you're still like a Super Bowl contender. Let's say you win one as well. Let's say you win a Super Bowl, you're coming off it, you want to repeat. To have 2 rookie corners, it's tough. You know, like that's a tough or second year corners. Excuse me, that's tough.
Danny put it in the chat too. Like right now, he currently has a top 5 contract. When you re-sign him, I wouldn't think that it's another top 5 deal for him. At least in I don't know. I could be wrong with that, but
let's look up. I'll look up contracts. Okay, so you have guys in the league right now. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey. I think he's still the highest paid corner on average. Jalen Ramsey, Patrick Surtain, Jair, AJ Terrell, Denzel Ward. I don't know where he'd be in like.
No, he won't then.
Yeah, he'll be
his prime.
So he won't. I don't think.
I would think you get him at a good price for a 2 or 3 year deal. You can get him at a good price.
I wouldn't be surprised if you got him back. Like on how much is Denzel Ward making per year?
Denzel's making about 20.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if he re-signs for the exact same amount that he's re-signed.
Take that 15.
Right now, like 14, 15 million a year. I wouldn't be surprised. Like
he's about 14.8 average.
Like a 3-year, $48 million deal. Like, I don't think that's crazy at all. And I think it's honestly, when you look at this division, how many wide receivers does Green Bay have? They got 3, 4, 5 of them. Right now, I know Keenan's getting older, but you look at Roma Dunze and DJ Moore, that can cause problems. Then you look at Minnesota, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson can be problems for a while. So the more corners that you do have, I think it's important, because when you look at the strengths of the other teams in the division, that a lot of the times they're looking at the wide receiver core as one of them. So you need to be able to combat that. And to your point, Jeff, like if you roll out there next year with Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rakestraw, no Carlton Davis, like you're probably going to bring in a free agent, but you're not going to be seeing a Carlton Davis level free agent, in my opinion, unless you're breaking the bank. And you're not going to be able to do that when you got guys that you have to bring back on your own team when you talk about extensions. So Carlton Davis is the best bang for your buck. And he can make it.
The realistic take is he's 28. This is probably, if he gets like a 4-year, this is probably his last like big deal. You know what I'm saying? So I think not that he'll command top dollar, but he's definitely going to want to raise. So he's making 14 now, almost 15. Like I think he gets bumped probably another couple million. Like I can see him wanting like 16, 17, something like that. I don't know. That just my opinion. He's getting 28 years old. Like by the time this contract, if he does sign a 4-year, like you're going to be 32. Like, you know, a cornerback position. It's tough when you get into your 30s. You know, to be that to be what you were in your 20s. So I would think Carlton, even though it's like we're obviously cover the Lions, we're a little biased. It's like, oh yeah, he'll take a little. I think he'd probably want, and I think the Lions wouldn't be opposed to giving him that, to be honest with you. While you have it's like your Terrion's under contract now for 4 years, and then the 5th-year option. So you have time here with a rookie corner. So I don't know. That's my take on it. I think he'd probably want a couple $1 million raise, and I'm curious if the Lions do it. I hope they do, because you don't want to be in the same position you were looking for more corners. You know, like just get a guy you know, and then you have him and Terrion, and then if Ennis shows a ton of flash, then you have 3 guys. Like, that's okay. I just don't want to see Vildor ever again. And just don't do that, please.
No more Jerry Jacobs. No more Will Harris. No more Jeff Iafrate.
Yeah.
Let's have legitimate guys out there, please.
Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.